of the committee. I do have an amendment that I have filed with the committee that I hope the committee would rule in order. My amendment would require the Department of the Interior to conduct a comprehensive analysis of the impact of mountaintop removal mining on public health in nearby communities before enactment of the underlying legislation and certify that the practice is not jeopardizing public health. As you know, in mountaintop removal mining, coal companies use heavy machinery and explosives to remove the upper levels of mountains to more easily access the coal seams beneath. They often dispose of the waste in adjacent valleys. Mine waste pollution, including dangerous heavy metals such as selenium and sulfate, often contaminates or buries waterways in the valleys. I've witnessed the destruction firsthand. I've talked with families whose communities are beset by alarmingly high rates of chronic heart disease, respiratory illness, and gastrointestinal maladies as a result. And I've heard from elementary school teachers whose students color the streams orange when they draw their surroundings because that's what they see when they look outside. To coal companies and some of my colleagues, mountaintop removal mining is a cheap way to mine coal. But to the people who live in Appalachia, who see the same orange water contaminated by mine waste coming through their taps, mountaintop removal is an urgent threat to public health and safety, and increasingly the scientific and medical communities agree. Evidence is mounting that people who live in communities near mountaintop removal mining sites are at an elevated risk for a range of major health problems. One peer-reviewed study found a higher risk of birth defects in proximity to mountaintop removal sites, including circulatory and respiratory problems and damage to the central nervous system, musculoskeletal, and gastrointestinal systems. In addition, an analysis in the journal Science found mountaintop removal mining communities have more adult hospitalizations for chronic pulmonary disorders and hypertension, as well as higher mortality rates, lung cancer rates, and instances of chronic heart, kidney, and lung disease. The families suffering in the hollows below mountaintop removal mining are entitled to the same basic public health and safety as every other American, and they need our help. That is why my colleague and fellow Kentucky native Ranking Member Slaughter and I introduced the Appalachian Health Emergency Act, on which this amendment is based. As I said, it would require DOI to perform the first federal study of the impact of mountaintop removal mining on public health and to certify the practice is safe. In contrast, the underlying legislation would soften the stream buffer rules designed to protect against contamination of water supplies while blocking any updates for at least 5 years. We should be embarrassed that we've allowed a dangerous practice to continue for decades without ever assessing the risks to public health and safety, risks that people in mining communities throughout our country live with every day. This amendment would provide families in mountain communities the answers they need and the protection they deserve. If it can't be proven that mountaintop removal mining is safe, we shouldn't allow it to continue. I thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Yarmuth.